So in this video, we're going to learn how to use Django CMS to add things to the community site for CSDTs. So if you're an admin, you can go over here and you can just add /admin. If you're not an admin, you need to ask. And we've got all sorts of things for editing the community site, but we're just going to add pages. So let's click on pages. So in here, you can see there's a whole bunch of content that already exists, but we want to make our own. So let's go to add page. So this is going to be our top level page. So let's just call it demo modules. That's a pretty good name because we're going to put a bunch of demos in there. So we're going to save that. And you'll see that once you've saved it, it appears right down here at the bottom. So this is a page that exists now, but it doesn't have anything in it. So we need to add, at the very least, a header. So let's go in here and we can just select page header. So let's type in demo module page. Usually you'd want to call it exactly the same thing as you called it in the URL. But by adding that in, you can see that now that appears on the page. And you can go ahead and publish these changes. And when you publish something, it means that anyone with the URL can see what you've added. So let's go back and add some real content. So we've got our main landing page, but see all these other pages have content in them. They have things that are useful. So we're going to add that by adding a child with a little plus sign here. And we're going to call this child demonstration. And so in this demonstration, we're going to put all of our main content that's worth seeing. And we're also going to give it the application context type. And that's going to preload a title, a menu, and some basic content. So all right, underneath our demo modules, you can see we have our first demonstration. And in that demonstration, we've got ourselves a title, a menu, and some content. All right, well, first things first, we want to change that name to make it just what we want. So let's call it demonstration because that's what this page is. It's a demonstration, so demonstration. And once that saves, now we've just got to add the menu and the content. And that's where most of our work will be, but let's lay out our content. And we're going to do that with the menu. So let's add some cool stuff. Learn cool stuff. All right. We're going to make that a link by going to the plugins and just selecting link. And you're going to take the URL of the page you're at, but leave out the @ language equals English. You don't need that. Just add in underscore off because you want editing to be off on your page. And then you're going to add the anchor name. And it's going to be the same as the page content name. You're just going to input underscores. All right, so now we've created a link. You can tell because it's blue. And if we publish this page, the link would work. But as you can see, there's no content. If only creating links created the content for us. All right, so we're going to have to make some content. And the way we do this is we're going to go to source and we're just going to copy stuff. We're going to copy the introduction. And you want everything up to the first division. And then you're just going to replicate it. Control V. We're also going to want to change that top division height so we can see all this stuff down here. So you can see our new section. And we're just going to title this section the same thing as we've been using so far, Learn Cool Stuff. Because everybody wants to learn cool stuff. And then you can fill in some content. This is a page where we learn cool stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some pictures to it because this really adds a lot to our page. So we're going to go in here and I'm just going to select the first thing that's on my desktop. Yeah, capture. There we go. So you can tell that this is a picture and that it worked because there's that little image icon. But we also need to change the anchor of this section to be the same as the name here. So we clicked on source code and then we're just changing that to be the same thing as the link. All right, so once we save this, Now we should be able to use that link to go to the section over here. So let's try that out. We're going to publish the page, and then we're going to go to it. Oh, there we go. See how it jumped right there? That's just what we want. However, we don't want to see both pages on there, so let's go change that back. So remember when we added those numbers? Let's just get rid of them. Alright, so now that section is hidden. And if we publish, you can go back and forth. Whee! Alright, enough of that. Let's go to one last thing. Your page is mostly finished, but you kind of want to be able to link to your stuff. You know, whatever CSnap modules you create off this page. So let's go back here and go to our menu. We're going to replace this with, still launch software, but without the old link. And we're going to go get something to link to. We're going to go back to the community site. Let's just pick something. I like Charles's Frontier game. I think that's cool. So let's link to that. So I'm just going to take the URL, and I'm going to go back to our page, and I'm going to add a new link, and I'm just going to use that as the link URL. And that works just fantastic. So once I save this and publish it, that link should work. Let's check. Awesome. So now we can link to things off the page. We've got ourselves a picture and content. I think that's just about a good starting place for making your own pages. So have fun and make cool stuff.